Hello, welcome back to the show. Now, this is the last hour of our show. That means you are watching the signature segment, See the Stories. Now, we are calling out all the French movie lovers as Festival Sinema Prancis, or French Cinema Festival, is set to return with a captivating lineup of French films.
This year's festival explores the French cinema evolution, offering bold and fresh narratives that challenge conventions while paying homage to classic literature and cinematic artistry.
Initiated by the French Embassy and Institut Français d'Indonésie, Festival Sinema Prancis will feature more than 30 films in a hybrid format with screenings in 13 cities across Indonesia.
The centerpiece of this year's edition is the Regards the Femme section, highlighting works by female filmmakers from France and French-speaking countries.
These films dive deep into the complex lives, struggles, and dreams of women, delivering powerful stories with unique perspectives.
Now mark your calendar, as Festival Sinema Prancis will run from November 22nd to December 6th.
Now, this is actually the time for you to broaden up your, cinematic knowledge.
Yes.
Because as soon as you hear Festival Sinema Prancis, Emily in Paris is not included.
So it's not included?
So rule that out. But this is something to actually pay attention to, because in terms of cinema and cinematographic, French movies has been quite educating in my experience.
Yeah, and, I remember you saying that you like,
I
French
do love
movies.
it. I do love French movies.
So I'm pretty sure you're gonna like this segment because we're gonna talk a lot about French movies. So Festival Sinema Prancis is not just about films, it is about cultural exchange, artistic collaboration, and the powerful role cinema plays in shaping our understanding of the world. And today we will explore how this festival fosters deeper connections between France and Indonesia.
And for that, we're now joined by French Embassy Culture Attaché Charlotte Esnou and Festival Sinema Prancis Program Manager Gaspard Perelman. Hi, Charlotte and Gaspard, thank you so much for being here. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Mademoiselle et monsieur. So, probably this is something that is not, well, I'm not going to say it's not familiar, but this might be quite segmented when it comes to the French movies, because certainly French movies has its own group of fans. But last year's event, probably, Gaspard, you can help me to answer this question, because last year's event attracted more than 10,000 viewers, with 7,000 enjoying online screens. So, but first thing first, could you tell us more about the festival in general?
So, thank you very much for having us tonight. Festival Sinema Prancis was created actually in 1996, so it's been a long time since it was created. It's the 26th edition this year, and so it was created by the French Embassy in Indonesia and Institut Français. Our goal is really to promote French cinema in terms of, in its quality and diversity. So these are our two main objectives. We aim to build bridges between France and Indonesia also by organizing discussions, by bringing some French talents to Indonesia, by helping professionals from the film industries in both countries to meet and learn from each other. And the concept itself is really like to have screenings, French film screenings, offline and online. Since COVID, we try to do this. So thanks to our main partners, Cinema XX1 or 21 and Click Film, we managed to have this nice concept, which is first an offline program with this year 22 movies screened in Cinema 21 theaters and in the French Cultural Network, and then 1 week of online screenings on Click Film. And we have multiple sections. We try to highlight different tendencies in the French film industries, from blockbusters to more independent movies, also focusing on some specific themes that we may talk about later, like female gazes.
And then, if I may complete, so this year we'll be having, 32 movies screened in 13 cities all across Indonesia.
13 cities?
Yes, and 31 locations.
So has it been done before? Screened not only in Jakarta?
Well, yes, it has been, I think, the history of the festival to be widespread around the archipelago, but we try to add more and more cities and more locations. So not only in professional cinemas, in our cultural centers, but also in universities, in schools. So we try to diversify the location more and more, for sure.
And you also mentioned that you're doing it as a hybrid this time around, ever since COVID happened, or the pandemic. So do you think it brings a much more impact, like a bigger target as well for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, of course, you can reach out to so many more people when it's online, but we still want to conserve, the fact that we want to bring people into cinemas and also in the same place together. Because, a movie screening is not only about watching the movie, it's also about sharing your experience afterwards with each other, talk about the topic of the movie, exchange ideas, and, as much as possible, also exchange with the talents. So we've been trying to, bring, directors, actors, actresses, both from Indonesia and France, to come and talk about the movies they like or that they have acted on.
Because usually after you watch a movie, you have all these questions, right?
I was about to say that.
The best thing to do, just ask straight to the director or the actor, right?
And I don't know about other people, but for me, I have a habit of discussing a movie that I just watched with anyone. I mean, sometimes there's this one time I watched a movie with her, and in the car we were like, discussing about the movie. Why was it here? Why it was there, and stuff like that. But a lot of themes being brought to the cinema realm. And this year's the theme focuses on female perspective in French cinema. Why now? What inspired you with this choice, and also what is the message that you want to say with this theme?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for this question. So this year we'll be showing 9 movies made by female directors, French female directors. It was really important for us to do this this year, not only this year, actually, every year would be great. But we felt there was a momentum. The industry is slowly changing, as you can see. It was spearheaded by the Me Too movement, a few years ago. But we also see a lot more female directors, being prized in the international festivals. For example, example of the Cannes Festival that prized 2 female directors in the last few years. So we see that the industry is slowly changing. We have more and more also strong female characters to be displayed in the movies, and we really wanted to show that perspective and to intentionally also show that industry shifting in our festival, because it marks a movement, a very accurate movement.
And you can say that it's actually shifting in Indonesian movies, film industry as well, because we see a lot of female directors nowadays.
Sure.
So with this team highlighting female filmmakers, do you see parallels with the growing trend of women directors in Indonesia?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Camilla Andini, for example, she's...
I love her.
Yeah, me too. But she's also very young, and she's a strong female director in Indonesia. And she's been also showing our movies in France, which we try to, do more and more, is also that balance between having more visibility of French movies in Indonesia, but also more visibility of Indonesian movies in France. And Camilla Andini is the perfect example.
Well, if this is coming from a woman, I want to ask my fellow men. So now, this is something that is quite highlighted in the past several years, and also, let alone in the film industry. Now, you as the men, as the partner of women in running the industry, how is it important, the involvement of women in the film industry, and let alone in the French movie industry?
Let me talk a bit about female gaze, maybe the concept. I mean, it's all about showing women characters, female characters, in a new way that does not reduce women to a specific role, or I don't know, either mother or a beautiful girlfriend or anything, It's all about having a more complex, a more realistic view of what a woman is and how we think a woman should be seen also. So my point was when curating this female gaze section was really to propose another way of looking at female characters. It's not about canceling my male gaze. It's about proposing something else. Because yeah, I mean since the birth of cinema, we've mainly have had male gaze on screen, right? So I think it's important not to. I mean, it's not something conflictual at all. It's only about allowing women also to share how they see their female characters, how they see the world. Because film, I mean, it influences the way spectators, especially young spectators, will see the world, will see the society. So I think it's important to have this perspective also. Yeah.
And the goal is not only to do a female-only festival, and we want to be clear on that point, but it's really, as Gaspard mentioned, bring the diversities of views and characters. And because the industry has been largely led by men in the past, we want to adjust and gender balanced a little bit.
Now, so for this film festival, it's not only for viewing films, but you guys also have a mentorship program. So can you tell us more about the first Indonesia Friends Film Lab mentorship program? What is it about and how can people join?
Yeah, we're so happy about this. So we've actually this year partnered for the first time with the JAF Festival in Yogyakarta, and also with Kemdikbud and the Association of Producers, APROFI, in Indonesia, to bring French talents of the industry to create a mentorship program for young Indonesian talent as well. So this will happen in December, the few first days of December, and we're bringing 3 French, different kind of talents. So we're bringing a director and 2 producers that will be doing a mentorship program to 6 different Indonesian projects. Yeah, do you want to?
Yeah, the idea is really to foster a cooperation between France and Indonesia in the fields of cinema, and to encourage co-productions. So it means films co-produced by Indonesian producers and French producers. And the 3 guests, the three French experts we invite to Indonesia are so one director, Rashid Ami, who's for his last film he worked. It was a French-Taiwanese co-production, so he has this experience. One French producer, Luis Bellico, who worked on a lot of co-productions, for instance, Autobiography by Makbul Mubarak. And finally, international salesman Sébastien Chienot, whose company, whose international sales company, Cercamon, based in Dubai, sells in the whole world movies that come basically from many countries, co-produced movies. So each of them will bring his or her own expertise to help Indonesian young filmmakers to learn about how to pitch a project to some potential co-producer, how to write a scenario script when you aim to find money in some other country, which themes could be addressed to integrate it into the movie to make it attractive, appealing.
So for 6 projects,
Yeah,
Indonesian
6
in the span of
It's
what
4
duration?
Yeah, it's 4 days to start with, but really the intention is to create professional networks. For these mentors are not going to stop, talking to the incubes after the mentorship program. They will, continue to, be in a relationship with them, of course, in 2 different countries, but maybe they will also invite them to go to France at some point or help them to come to France for different projects. So really the intention is to create networks of professionals, that will last a long time after this program. That's
Lovely, lovely. Yeah. All right, so after the break, we will talk more about the role of movie in shaping culture understanding with both of our guests and dialogue between different countries. So please do not go anywhere.